The state of Texas has executed Elroy Chester for his role in a string of murders in Port Arthur. And a local pastor speaks out on the Southern Baptist Convention's latest controversial position. Plus, why the town of West is out of luck when it comes to federal funds. 6 News Tonight starts right now.
Live from the Beaulieu Broadcast Center, you're watching KFDM 6 News Tonight at 10 in high definition.
I'm very disappointed, somewhat angry, confused.
The mayor of West is demanding an explanation after FEMA denied a request for federal aid in the aftermath of the fertilizer plant explosion. Good evening, I'm Ashley Gaston. Thank you for joining us. Kelly has the night off. Southern Baptists gathered in Houston for their annual convention. A big portion of the convention sharing their opinions on controversial issues, like the new policy that allows gay scouts to join the Boys of America. KFDM reporter Justin Hinton has convention reaction from one of the pastors in attendance. He joins us live in the studio with details. Justin?
Every year, the group presents their opinions on a number of controversial issues. Today, they voted on a resolution expressing their opposition to and disappointment in the Boy Scouts of America's new policy allowing gay scouts. I spoke with Dr. Christopher Moody. He heads First Baptist Church in Beaumont. He was in the room during the vote where he says the roughly 5,000 voting members unanimously approved that resolution with very little discussion on their stance. Here's a breakdown of just some of the resolves. They expressed gratitude for those in the Scouts who expressed their opposition to the policy and those who voted against it. They also expressed a concern that this policy will lead to future approval of gay Scout leaders, which the Boy Scouts of America currently does not allow. They also called upon the Scouts to remove leaders within the organization who tried to change the policy without seeking input. And Dr. Moody also told me what the resolution is not.
This is not a resolution to say if you have a Boy Scout troop meeting in your church in Augusta, Georgia, well, you need to, turn them away and not have that. That's not what this is. Now, it might get to that eventually if things keep going the way they're going with the Boy Scouts of America. If they go further and allowing gay Scout troop leaders and other steps that they could take, it might come to that. But we're not there yet.
And it's important to note, these are just opinions. All Southern Baptist churches are independent. Therefore, the denomination cannot force a church to drop its ties to the Scouts. And this wasn't the first time the convention presented a series of resolutions pertaining to the Boy Scouts of America. The conventions in 1992 and 2000 also produced resolutions keeping the Scouts in mind. And Dr. Moody was at both. Now, we also reached out to the Boy Scouts of America, and you can read their response on our website, kfdm.com, along with the full list of resolves from the convention. Reporting live in the studio, Justin Hinton, 6 News Tonight.
At 7:04, the state of Texas executed Elroy Chester after various attempts at appeals and getting a stay of execution. But earlier this evening, the United States Supreme Court chose not to grant that stay, and the 44-year-old was put to death by lethal injection. Chester was executed for the February 1998 shooting death of Port Arthur firefighter Willie Ryman III. Chester pleaded guilty to the crime, and it took a Jefferson County jury only 12 minutes to decide he should die for the killing. KFDM Tom Wright was at the execution earlier tonight. He has more from Huntsville.
In the final moments of his life, Elroy Chester apologized and admitted to his crimes. The state of Texas executed Elroy Chester after a 15-year stay on death row. He was convicted of capital murder in 1998 for the shooting death of Port Arthur firefighter Willie Ryman. Ryman's family witnessed the execution and said this closes the chapter with Elroy Chester.
Yeah, after 15 years, it's a long time coming. She's right. It's not complete closure. Our brother's still not here. The victims, other victims, they're not here.
A group of Port Arthur firefighters waited for the Ryman family outside the Huntsville unit and cheered when the execution was done. Ryman's family acknowledged all the victims of a man who confessed to killing 5 people in Port Arthur.
Also, he claimed a lot of other victims' lives. We'd like to say on behalf of the families of Cheryl DeLeon, Etta Mae Stallings, Henry Cepeda, Albert Bolden, and numerous people that were murdered, this justice has been done. It was carried out today.
In his last statement, Chester said, "I told the truth because I feel like you should know who killed your loved ones. For me, live your life, but don't hate me. I'm sorry for taking the lives of your loved ones." In Huntsville, Tom Wright, KFDM 6 News.
Greg Bostwick joins us now with a first look at the forecast. Greg?
Well, it certainly is a very humid evening out there right now. For example, down at Lamar State College on Sabine Lake down in Port Arthur, 82 degrees. It is not dropping much, that's for sure, and the wind's very light out of the south and southwest. Around the state, most of the shower activity today has been well to our west. Thunderstorms popping up and coming on shore down toward Corpus Christi. San Antonio's had a good shot of rain today, but that's well to our southwest, and it looks like our rain chances will stay very close to zero for the next couple of days. What about the temperatures for this weekend? We'll take a look at those coming up a little bit later.
Nearly 2 months after the fertilizer plant explosion leveled parts of the town of West, the Federal Emergency Management Authority announced today that it's denying any further federal aid. In a letter to Governor Rick Perry, FEMA said after its assessment, the state and local governments are capable of handling the remaining costs from the explosion. A FEMA spokesman says the agency has provided more than $7 million in direct federal aid. The explosion killed 14 people and damaged homes in a 5-block area. The mayor of West says he's disappointed and angry at the decision.
Federal government can go out into Iraq and Afghanistan and build countries and cities. All we're looking for is 3-point-something miles of road, and the federal government cannot help us with that. It's a pretty sad state.
A spokesman for Governor Perry's office said the state will explore any other possible steps to get the town the additional aid. An update on a story we brought to you last night. The state of Texas says it needs $4 billion just to maintain existing roads, and lawmakers want to take at least half of that amount from the state's rainy day fund. Betty Cross has more on just where the rest of the money will come from.
If Texas drivers want to pay fewer tolls, a solution may be as simple as having the state sock away less money in the rainy day fund.
Free roads is good, yes. Yeah, it's worth it, yeah, it's worth it.
Cab driver Casey Wunkacha racks up 50,000 miles a year. Check his odometer.
143,696.
And it's easy to see why he wants Texas to save less and spend more on state roads.
The rainy day fund is a good deal, but right now we need quality life, quality living.
And Texas may be ready to dig deep to improve state highways. Some Republican state senators want to divert part of the tax paid by oil and gas companies out of the rainy day fund and into the Texas Department of Transportation. No money would be taken out of the $8 billion rainy day fund, but new oil and gas revenue wouldn't get pumped in as fast.
The spigot pouring money into it would just slow down a little bit.
Slowing the flow into the state savings account would make a big chunk of money available to build new highways and fix older ones.
That's about $900 million a year.
From KC's perspective,
we don't need any more toll roads.
It's the most cost-effective way to keep Texas drivable. In Austin, Betty Cross, KFDM 6 News.
The Texas Department of Transportation manages nearly 200 million miles of roads and more than 50,000 bridges. The agency largely relies on a 20 cents a gallon fuel tax that hasn't been raised since 1991. And a quick note on an interactive online town hall our sister station KI will be holding tomorrow. You can live stream it starting tomorrow just after 6 o'clock. It will be held at the Georgetown Courthouse. Visit our website, KFDM.com, for the link to take part. Coming up later in our 6 on Health report, fixing your mouth with a new painless procedure. And coming up next, looking for an internship? You might want to try Google.